first time being here, thanks so much for stopping in. And of course, if you're a returning listener, I really appreciate you being here. And if you feel guided, I am accepting donations for my readings at this time. It would be so helpful for me. So if you resonate with your reading, please check out my Cash App info below. Whatever you feel like is awesome for me. Also, like, share, comment, and subscribe. That works for me too. So whatever you're feeling guided to do. I am working with the Wildwood Tarot today, and I'm working with these Spirit Animal Oracle cards. Let's just get started. So we are in the middle of some retrograde cycles, Mercury retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and we're in the middle of an eclipse portal. So big changes in your life. They said things coming and going, coming and going. So we're just checking in for all these big energy shifts to see what is popping up for Sagittarius. Just wants to take this top card. I just want to look at these other ones though. Okay. So Sagittarius, you've got the squirrel spirit. I love this little squirrel. It says believe in yourself, and squirrels are it's kind of mentioning like flying squirrels and things like that. So, and also how they like will go bury the acorn for later and still be able to find it later and dig it back up when it's time to eat in the wintertime, right? It just said something like, put your nuts away. Put your nuts away is kind of what it said, for later. You can, it said like, you can do it. Believe in yourself. Like you can save, you can put things away for later. Just believe in yourself overall. It's very much pointing out these water drops for me right here. So that might come back in later in the reading, but it's kind of pointing out these little dewdrops and everything. It's like a little rose on the top of its head there. That's interesting. So just believe in yourself. And yes, kind of tuck things away for later. Like, don't worry, you can come back to them. Believe that you can find them again. Like that kind of stuff. These acorns are very much feeling like pentacles in a sense. So believe that you can build your abundance. And that's what I mean. It's like acorns, saving them for winter and stuff. That's like assuring your abundance later, right? So that's part of the message. It's great. You have the Fool card, which is the Wanderer. So you're definitely at a 0 point of your life where it's time to just kind of have faith in yourself and step off the cliff and just kind of, right, believe in yourself. Very cut and dry message here, like very straight to the point. So just believe in yourself. If you are very much at a turning point in your life, it's time to just trust yourself, believe in yourself, step off the cliff, believe that it's going to be okay, detach from worry, and just kind of go for it and see where the path takes you. That's where you have to have faith in yourself. There's also a face back here in the trees. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here in the recording, but there is this kind of old face in the woods. And that's where it's like, you very much are feeling called in a certain direction. Feels a little mysterious. Your spirit guides are definitely watching over you. So just have faith and move forward on that overall. Oh. Okay, hang on. That one's upside down. Hang on. Sorry, I'm just kind of sitting here looking at all of these, which might be kind of the same energy that you have. Like there's a lot of different cards on the table that you're kind of like looking at. So, with this Knight of Bows, which is a fox, I have a lot of affinity to foxes overall. Ooh, it's very much pointing out the flowers over here, like the foxgloves. Foxgloves. It's kind of mentioning like gloves. So the fox, oh, it says shows up at dawn. They are, I can't remember the term for it, but it's like they are most active at dawn, and they're also most active at dusk, and they kind of like nap during the day, and then they can be very nocturnal at the same time. Like they're kind of like, they embody the energy of just, like, they're kind of all over the place in the sense that they can be awake at any time, they can be asleep at any time, they can be on the move at any time, they can be in one place at any time. Very mysterious and magical in that way. However, this card is also in this deck specifically about like some plans that flare up and then maybe die back. There can be some warnings of danger a little bit that come with this card. Okay, it's very much talking about Mercury retrograde and just that, like, especially during Mercury retrograde, some plans like just don't come through, and it's not always because of miscommunication. It's not always because of a misunderstanding or things like that. It's very much like some plans just shift and change very much at this time. And again, we're in that eclipse portal and we're in Mercury retrograde, so there's a lot of things just kind of shifting and moving, and this is actually the energy you need to embody at this time. Like if you make a plan and then something comes up and it changes, like don't take it personal, just like keep moving and shifting with the energy, because that's literally the energy that is around us all at this time. Yeah, you just gotta like kind of accept any detours in life type deal. That's why you need to just have faith and kind of trust and step out on this ledge, because it said life's going to take you where you want to go. Trust the detours kind of deal. You're not on the wrong path if something necessarily like doesn't happen right this moment. It could definitely come back later. It's just like there's just so much shifting energy right now, so you're not meant to be like locked into anything. You're supposed to very much just like roll with the punches, roll with whatever is kind of coming in type deal. Having this 10 of arrows next to it, which is instruction, you could be learning a lot of things and passing on a lot of knowledge to other people. And with it coming up with the ace of bows right next to it, which is the ace of wands, so we have a 10 of swords and an ace of wands. There are endings and beginnings happening at this time. Also with the ace of bows happening underneath this fool right here, that's a spark of life. That is a project, a job, an initiative. It's something that you have to put some effort into. It's like fire. You gotta like get the fire going, right? And that's what you're kind of aiming for here with this 10 of arrows. So there are things that are coming to completion and ending. This 10 of swords, this 10 of arrows in this deck is a whole different energy from what you normally see in other decks. So this isn't like this isn't a painful 10 of swords. This is just, there's lessons being passed down. There's certain lessons coming to an end because there's new lessons beginning. You're being trained up for something, and you're aiming at something, and this is very much your ancestors guiding you at what you're aiming at. What are you aiming at? This spark of life, this ace of wands, this ace of bows. And so the arrow energy is your thoughts and your communications and anything that has to do with intellect. That's why very much this instruction card, like you're learning and being trained, you're finishing up some training, you're aiming at new projects and new things. And bows or wands energy is fire, so spirit, passion, anything of that sort. And you very much are aiming at, it said rebuilding a spark. So you got to have the arrow and you got to have the bow. You got to have both of those things to really make this card happen. So you got to have the intellect and the knowledge and everything like that, and you got to have the willpower and the drive to get everything started. There is this page of arrows over here, which again is a page of swords. There is possibly little news and little communications coming through. This energy can also sometimes be a spy. It can also be energy about sitting on a fence, like not making a decision either way because you're learning things at this time. So that's what I'm saying. There's lessons that are ending. You're aiming at the spark. This bird is looking at this spark too. But there's some sitting on the fence energy over here. It kind of feels like it could be you sitting on the fence. You're like reviewing, and that's a retrograde energy. When we look back and review things, there's some review energy over here. So you're being very thoughtful about stepping off into this new journey, sparking something new. You're pausing and reflecting and kind of sitting on the fence about things. It feels like that's okay because there's still some things wrapping up and possibly starting up. So it's just kind of like you're in this like waiting period. There could be, I'm telling you, there's guides watching over you. You're in this kind of in-between phase right now, and that's why you feel like you're starting a new journey, because there's just so many things coming and going at this time. Like it said at the beginning of your reading, lots of things coming and going. So that's got you kind of sitting on the fence, just paying attention, looking at things, overseeing everything. And again, you're meant to stay in this energy though of just shifting with the whole, I said tide, shifting with the tide. So whereas part of you is okay with that and can shift with that, there's another part of you that is kind of sitting on this fence and looking over all of this energy and just paying attention to what is leaving your life, what is starting up in your life, what is staying, what is going. And that's what you should do, Sagittarius. Like I said, you shouldn't plan on anything super solid right this moment, because that's not the energies that are present astrologically. That's not the energies that are present for the collective. You are in this in-between phase, and that's how you're supposed to move and be. So while you're managing all of that, part of you is sitting back and paying attention before you like fully commit to anything, before you fully do anything. And that's where we get to this Nine of Stones, which is tradition, and this is in reverse. You kind of have your back turned on some traditions with this page. You're sitting on the fence, and with this in reverse over here, and then you got something new with this ace over here. It's kind of like you could move into something more traditional, but it doesn't seem like that's what you want to do. That's why you're still kind of looking at this new thing over here, which is in the center. We're trying to stay centered and balanced at this time, and that's why you're kind of like not really considering this. But this Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Stones, tradition upside down, that has very much to do with your wealth and stuff. And so you might have kind of turned your back on some wealth, turned your back on some stable energy. Like if I turn this upside, or if I turn this right, this is very much like Stonehenge, monolith. These are spiritual practices. This is meditation as well. And there's wealth in that as well, not just finances, right? So it feels very much like you've turned your back on some traditions overall, be they spiritual traditions, whether they are financial traditions, anything that is kind of resonating for you in that way. Money, home, family, these spiritual practices and traditions, you're just kind of like, you've definitely got like your, like literally like the little butt turned towards it, like your little tails turned towards it, and you're just like, I don't know, like not feeling it. It doesn't feel heavy in here. It's not like it's bad, but it's really weird to see this Nine of Stones tradition card flipped over. Like, tradition is just not the way you seem to be heading. You're definitely heading towards something new, whatever is this spark of life for you. Let's get any last notes on this. Actually, I want a clarifier for this Nine of Stones. The Shaman. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with the shaman energy coming through, this magician energy, that's a really strong masculine energy. And the shaman is really knowledgeable in traditions, and so it's kind of confusing as to why you would turn from something like that. Something just kind of said like smoke and mirrors, like it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors. Like you don't believe the shaman, you don't trust the shaman, so it's kind of feeling like maybe there was like a spiritual guide in your life, or there was a person in your life, possibly a masculine energy, that you, I don't know. I'm not really catching it, honestly. Like, I'm not catching anything negative off of this over here. It's just there's something about these traditions, and it feels very much about, like, some spiritual work, especially with that shaman coming out. It feels like it did affect you in a real-world way, that you turned your back on this. And it's not even saying your back, like you turned your butt on it, is what it keeps saying, which is your root chakra. It's like you've cut yourself off from your roots. And I mean, this guy is pretty much the same guy that's here in this stone figure, and this one's upright, and it's like, just said like you'd had enough of this shaman energy, this divine masculine energy. You had enough of this divine masculine energy. It said you tried. Sorry, it's giving me a really hard time. It's being like really unclear. Let me do this. Like, do you see? Hang on, I got the deck in my hand down here. Do you see how they're very much the same figure? One's in practice. One's in a lesser mode. They are in meditation. They are in practice. This one is their fully empowered state. And like you wanted to be fully empowered too, but it feels like whatever this situation, or maybe another person or something, that's very much tapping into those magical, mystical, conjuring things. And it's just saying like you had enough, so you stepped away from it. But this is like a super powerful person, situation. This is a very powerful thing. And so for this to be in reverse for you, it's like you, oh, okay, it said you see this energy as a much lesser energy. And when you look at it in this mirrored way, though, like you might just be seeing kind of this figure that sits there and meditates, but it's actually this. It's very strong and very powerful, and that's part of why you're sitting on the fence, is because you see this card, this divine masculine shaman energy, this conjurer, this magician. You see that energy as a much lesser form. Yeah, because this is major arcana, this is minor. You see it as a minor thing. That it's just, but it keeps saying lesser, like you see it as a lesser energy, like you just don't see it for the power of what it is. There's some spirit, there's some throat chakra clearing right there, and that's where it's like, it feels like this is a second kind of energy. Like, this all feels like you, Sagittarius. This feels like a second energy. And when it was saying smoke and mirrors and everything too, it's like you just, I don't know, like you weren't digging this person or that situation, but it very much feels like you're seeing it in a much lesser way than what it really is. It's a major arcana. You're seeing it as a lesser minor arcana. You don't see the potential and the power that's there, and Spirit is clarifying that with this too, because it's showing you like how much bigger and more powerful this person or situation really is. And something just said like, to hell with tradition, right? Like, to hell with tradition. But in that tradition, there's a lot of power. So it just feels like it's wanting you to reconsider. Like, you're sitting on the fence. It wants you to like think about things. It wants you to see this because it wants you to consider that it's a very powerful person or situation that you're kind of sitting on the fence about. It just said they can make your world, they can rock your world, is what it just said, because they are the shaman. It said like anything you need, they can conjure it up. But it's also the shaman is what comes after the Fool card. So that's what I mean. There's like this gap here. This could be you progressing into this energy, you not wanting to feel lesser anymore, and you wanting to feel bigger in this power yourself, manifesting things for yourself. But there's definitely this other energy over here about like you're viewing someone or something as a lesser situation. Spirit is showing you that it's much bigger. You think it's just smoke and mirrors, but this person, this energy is, they make things happen. They are a manifester. They are magical. And they're spiritual too. And that affects, it just said as above, so below. So that's the whole thing is, below, it looks like maybe they're just sitting on their ass meditating, not doing anything or something like that, or the situation's just sitting still. It's just traditional, it's boring to you, it's just whatever. You don't get it, you don't connect to it. As above, so below, though, this person or this situation is much bigger above in the other realms than you see on this earth plane. So there is definitely some like reconsidering energy right here. Last thing, anything else that wants to come out for Sagittarius? Two of Stones challenge. I think that wants to go right here. Like I was making like a W kind of, we just said win. Win as in like a win-win situation. Win as in like a timing question. With this Two of Stones, it feels like it wants to come over here on top of this fox. These are two female hares fighting for dominion, for breeding grounds in a way. They box and they fight. Wow, that was weird. For some reason, with these little blue flowers here, it just gave me the Bluebell homemade ice cream song. That was weird. So, could be some ice cream involved or something. That's not really sure. Could be about home and family, because that's all about like home style, tradition. Like I was saying, traditions and stuff. There's something here about like home and traditions, comfort, that there's some challenges. And so there's like fighting for boxing, or boxing for dominion, for territory. Definitely this challenge energy, and with that kind of coming over the top of this fox, that's what I mean. It's like you've been facing some challenges, kind of trying to designate what your turf is. Some fighting and quarreling, that's where this energy kind of comes in. Like if it's just not the right energy, then it's time to kind of get out of there kind of deal. Or if things flare up, then don't worry, they will die back too. You just kind of stay swift and keep moving. There's just overall, it feels like on the outside, right? Like on the outer edges here, you're very conflicted, which is like, and it's saying outer, so like you're, okay, just say kind of like your ego shell. Inwardly, you're feeling kind of hopeful and looking at some things, right? Maybe there's an ending, maybe there's just something to sit on the fence about. There's definitely some new energy right here in the core that you're working on. Kind of hoping and wishing and waiting, kind of learning and training and letting some things go. On these outer edges, you're facing some challenges and just having to like flip through it. But it's also talking about how like this fox can kind of run away from challenge as well. And that's what I mean. It kind of like, so sometimes you need to run away from challenge. Sometimes you need to turn around and face it. Take that how that resonates. And on this other side, you've been sitting on the fence because there's definitely some old ways and patterns you're trying to let go of. It feels very much based on like either finances or spirituality, and that's where Spirit is showing you that what you see as a lesser person or situation is more powerful and much more meaningful in the higher realms, and therefore feels a little heavier on this right side than this left side necessarily. And that's where it was saying like you're kind of dealing with this energy within yourself. This is things that you're definitely seeing on the outside. On the outside, from your ego shell, you're dealing with conflict, and that's where I feel like, and we were talking about 10 of arrows. 10 of arrows can definitely represent like an ego death, like the old version of you dying off and training up your new self so that you can be better the next time and aim for things that you truly want. And so you're facing a bit of an ego death, it feels like, and being rebirthed on the inside. It's kind of got this energy, like this cycle energy, this like, yeah. Just shift and flow with it. But recognize that some of the things that you're kind of looking at are like your mirror, and as within, so without, as above, so below. Some things it's just kind of like that retrograde time where some things flare up and die back, and some things don't work out and some things do, and it's not a time for anything to be static or still at all. It's very much a time of change, so just kind of go with the change, believe in yourself, and definitely pay more attention to what is shifting and changing within yourself, because it's clearly here and it's definitely new and it's very important, and it's okay to sit and wait on the fence, and it's okay to be trained up for things and teach others, and just kind of overall, you know? It just says it's going to be all right, is what it just said. And that's what I got for you, Sagittarius. So, ooh, it was 28:28 when I looked at the clock right then. So that's a 10:10 message. That's a solid completion. That's what I mean. It's going to be okay. No matter what, it's going to be okay. So that's what I got for you. Let me know how it resonates for you guys, and I will see you on the next reading. Thank you.